Okay, welcome to Remember to Breathe, our weekly meditation. Last week we did that on Monday. I wasn't available on Tuesday, but today we're back to our normal time with the Tao of movement building. And we're focusing on chapter 6 today. The movement has a life of its own. It's not your movement. It doesn't belong to you. You belong to it. It is a mystery that allows you to be involved. As you work to nourish, influence, and strengthen its vitality, you remember why you work, and you are strengthened and heartened by this remembering. I'll read it one more time. The movement has a life of its own. It's not your movement. It doesn't belong to you. You belong to it. It is a mystery that allows you to be involved. As you work to nourish, influence, and strengthen its vitality, you remember why you work, and you are strengthened and heartened by this remembering. So thank you for being here. I invite you to just take a deep breath. And this remembering of being part of the movement, part of something greater than ourselves, that it's a privilege truly to be part of it. And it gives us a deeper sense of purpose and meaning. And then it calls us into a greater expression of our own sense of self. It calls us into leadership. And I'm feeling called to share some words from Parker Palmer. Let your life speak. Listening for the voice of vocation. And these words resonate deeply with this chapter, and they gave me a lot of courage in this week, last week, when the darkness of this fall time was inviting me into a deeper reflection of my purpose. Parker Palmer writes, leadership, in quotes, is a concept we often resist. It seems immodest, even self aggrandizing, to think of ourselves as leaders. But if it is true that we are made for community, then leadership is everyone's vocation, and it can be an invasion to insist that it is not. When we live in the close-knit ecosystem called community, everyone follows and everyone leads. Even I, a person who is unfit to be president of anything, who once galloped away from institutions on a high horse, have come to understand that for better or for worse, I lead by word and deed simply because I am here doing what I do. If you are also here doing what you do, then you also exercise leadership of some sort. But modesty is only one reason we resist the idea of leadership. Cynicism about our most visible leaders is another. In America, at least, our declining public life has bred too many self-serving leaders who seem lacking in ethics, compassion, and vision. But if we look again at the headlines, we will find leaders worthy of respect in places we often ignore in South Africa, Latin America, and Eastern Europe, for example. Places where people who have known great darkness have emerged to lead others toward the light. The words of one of those people, Václav Havel, playwright, dissident, prisoner, and now president of the Czech Republic. This was written years ago. Take us to the heart of what leadership means in settings both large and small. In 1990, a few months after Czechoslovakia freed itself from communist rule, Havel addressed a joint session of the US Congress. The communist type of totalitarian system has left both our nations, Czechs and Slovaks, a legacy of countless dead, an infinite spectrum of human suffering, profound economic decline, and above all, enormous human humiliation. It has brought us horrors that, fortunately, you have never known. I think we Americans should confess that some in our country have known such horrors. He goes on, it has also given us something positive, a special capacity to look from time to time somewhat further than those who have not undergone this bitter experience. Someone who cannot move and live a normal life because he is pinned under a boulder has more time to think about his hopes than someone who is not trapped in this way. What I am trying to say is this: we must all learn many things from you, from how to educate our offspring and how to elect our representatives, to how to organize our economic life so that it will lead to prosperity and not poverty. But this doesn't have to be merely assistance from the well-educated, the powerful, and the wealthy to those who have nothing to offer in return. We too can offer something to you, our experience and the knowledge that has come from it. The specific experience I'm talking about has given me one certainty: consciousness precedes being. Consciousness precedes being, and not the other way around, as Marxists claim. For this reason, the salvation of this human world lies nowhere else than in the human heart, in the human power to reflect, in human modesty, and in human responsibility. Without a global revolution in the sphere of human consciousness, nothing will change for the better, and the catastrophe toward which this world is headed, whether it be ecological, social, demographic, or a general breakdown of civilization, will be unavoidable. So that's the end of Havel, Václav Havel. And then Parker Palmer writes, the power for authentic leadership, Havel tells us, is found not in external arrangements, but in the human heart. Authentic leaders in every setting, from families to nation states, aim at liberating the heart, their own and others, so that its powers can liberate the world. I cannot imagine a stronger affirmation from a more credible source of the significance of the inner life in the external affairs of our time. Consciousness precedes being, and the salvation of this human world lies nowhere else than in the human heart. Material reality, Havel claims, is not the fundamental factor in the movement of human history. Consciousness is, awareness is, thought is, spirit is. These are not the ephemera of dreams. They are the inner Archimedean points from which oppressed people have gained the leverage to lift immense boulders and release transformative change. Chapter 6, the Tao of Leadership. The Tao of Movement Building. The movement has a life of its own. The movement has a life of its own. It's not your movement. It doesn't belong to you. You belong to it. It is a mystery that allows you to be involved. As you work to nourish, influence, and strengthen its vitality, you remember why you work, and you are strengthened and heartened by this remembering. Thank you so much for being here, for connecting to your deep remembering of why you are here, why you do the work that you do, why you take moments to remember to breathe, remember to realign yourself with the deep essence of your purpose. I want to invite you to a very special series coming up after Thanksgiving from December 8th to December 12th. We're going to be focusing with 3 webinars on building bioregional partnerships. And this is all in service to the work of our Deep Roots Regenerative Leadership Cohort journey that is coming up next year in 2026. So if you're interested in deepening your connection with this Alliance for a Viable Community, Alliance for a Viable Future community, you can tune in to this Building Bioregional Partnerships series. I look forward to seeing you there. And I look forward to continuing to be here with you every week for Remember to Breathe, remembering to breathe. And next week, actually, we have our final cohort retreat of the 2025 cohort journey year on Tuesday. So I'll be doing this Remembering to Breathe on Monday. But I'm so grateful to be here with you to take a moment and deepen into the teachings that guide us, that guide me, that strengthen me, that help me to hold on when things are challenging. And even when I'm feeling excited and inspired and confident, the teachings help me to stay balanced and humble. So I hope you can go forward today from this call and tune in to that balance point within you, feeling both enlivened and inspired, revitalized, renewed, as well as feeling that deep humility, solidarity, and partnership with all people and all living beings around this planet who are connected to ourselves as representatives of the future generations. Thank you so much. Look forward to continuing this journey with you.